This demonstration will explain how you can manage users as an administrator for your entity. This webinar focuses on a role used by non-government entities, things like businesses and organizations, but all types of administrators may use this as an example of how the administrative function works. As an administrator, you will be able to manage users at your own level and also at lower level entities in your organization's hierarchy. For instance, if your entity has children entities that are also registered in SAM, you can manage users at these lower level entities. As an administrator in SAM, you can manage users for your entity. This includes the ability to invite users to have access to your entity, to approve role requests, and to add and remove a user's roles. You will access your administrator functionality from your My SAM page. Click Manage Entity Users to see this functionality. User List contains a list of the users over whom you have authority. You can manage your current users' roles through this link. Pending Sent Invitation displays invitations that you have sent but have not been accepted or rejected by the recipient. You can view these invitations and delete them. Pending Role Requests contain the list of role requests that are pending your approval. You can either approve or reject a role request. Invite User allows you to invite users to your entity. I will first demonstrate how you can invite a user to your entity. Click the Invite User link to begin the process. You may have more than one entity that you manage, so first you must select the entity to which you want to invite the user. All entities beneath you in your hierarchy are displayed. If an entity has a plus sign next to it, that means it has children of its own. Click the plus sign to see the lower level entities. If you manage several entities, you can search for your entity by its name or DUNS. Once you have found the appropriate entity, select it so that its details appear in the Registration Details box. Click Next to continue. Next, you must enter the email address of the person that you want to invite. You can invite users to your entity who don't have SAM accounts, but they will need to create one to accept the invitation. In this scenario, SAM has found a match between the email address I entered and an existing SAM account. If this were the wrong user, you could enter a different email address by selecting No, perform another search. Alternatively, if this is the right person, select Yes, invite user. For the final step, you need to select the roles that you want to give the user. You will be presented with a role pick list with optional roles available to the user. You can choose to make the person an administrator or a lower level role. Here you will see that they can be an entity registration representative, meaning they can edit and update that particular entity, or an entity registration viewer, meaning they can see all the data, including sensitive data, in this record, but they will not have edit capabilities. The final available role is the Services Contract Inventory Reporter. This role can be assigned now, but the requirement to report Services Contract Inventory data will not be active until October 2012. Please keep an eye out for an update to the user guide at that time, which will go into further detail on that role and its functions. To grant a role, select the checkbox next to it. Each role inherits the capabilities of a lower level role. For example, an entity registration representative can also view the data they are editing, so they automatically get the capabilities of an entity registration viewer. If there are any lower level roles that the user would receive as well, then they will be selected automatically. You can also remove a role by unchecking it. Once you have settled on the role, enter your reason for sending the request and click Next. Like all SAM processes, you have the chance to review your information before submitting it. When you are ready to submit the invite, click the Submit button. SAM will send an email to the user notifying him or her that he or she has a pending invitation. If the person does not have a SAM account, the email will inform them that they will need to create one to accept the invitation. The user's roles will not become active until he or she accepts the invitation. You can now see the sent invitation in your list of pending sent invitations. As an administrator, you will often need to manage role requests. When a user requests roles with your entity, you will receive an email. You can access the request by clicking the Pending Roles Requests. You can see all the role requests that you need to act on. Select View to open a specific request. Once you have the request open, you can review all of the details, including the requester details and the requested roles. To reject the request, click Reject Entire Request. Only the roles that the user requested are displayed. Select the roles that you want to give the user, and click Approve Selected Roles. You can review the roles before you grant them on the summary page. You have now activated the user's roles, and SAM will send the user an email notifying the user of the approval. If you had rejected the role request, the user would also receive an email. The last administrator function that I will cover is managing an existing user's roles. As administrator, you can modify, that is to say, add or remove the roles of all users within your entity and any children entities. To start, click Users List. You can search for an entity by name or DUNS, or you can search for a specific user by their name, username, or email. Click on an entity to display its users. Once you have selected the correct entity, click the name of the user you want to manage. The first page that opens is the User Information page, displaying the user's profile information. You can view all of the profile information except password and security questions. You may have noticed that in the top right corner of the screen is an Unlock button. If the user is locked, you can click the Unlock button to unlock the user's account. You can see the user's account status on the user list page. To modify the user's roles, click the Manage Roles link. The entities that you have authority over are displayed in the entity list. The granted user roles list contains the roles that the user has currently. From the entity list, select the entity where you want to manage the user's roles. The roles that are already selected are the roles that the user currently has. If you want to remove roles, uncheck the role. Notice how the role is no longer displayed in the Granted User Roles section. If need be, you can also add an additional role. Clicking a new role will add it to the Granted User Roles section, displaying it in red. Once you are satisfied with the changes, click the Save button to confirm the changes. A summary page opens displaying the changes that you have made. Click Submit to submit the changes. SAM updates the user's role and notifies the user of the changes. That concludes this demonstration. If you have questions about the administrator processes in SAM, please see the SAM User Guide for more information.